Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second session. My name is Nolan, and as Shelley Walters earlier on said, don't ever be shy to speak about yourself and tell people what you actually do. So I'm a speaker, I'm a life coach, and I'm a speaker with PSASA as well. By trade, I'm an SAP consultant. I've done that for about 26 years of my life until I found another purpose. I'm also a trainer, a facilitator, a podcast host, a philanthropist, and also a senior ambassador at Mindvalley. So I'd like you to think about something for a second. Think about the times that you were knocked down over and over. Have you ever had this experience? If you did, I'd like you to just chime in a yes in the chat to tell me about, or just put a yes to say you've been knocked down a couple of times or lots of times or no times at all. I just want to understand the experience that you guys have been through. Oh yes, hell yes, that's true. So today my chat is all about obstacles make me stronger. Now, when you think about obstacles, do you see obstacles as a deterrent or a blocker or a stopper? What do you see an obstacle as? Maybe if you can just tell me in the chat, what's an obstacle to you? So while I'm waiting for some comments to come up, what if you could turn the word around or change your mindset and see obstacles as an opportunity to learn and grow? Because when we start seeing obstacles like this, it kind of welcomes us or allows us to deal with obstacles better in life. And I'm not just saying this because I just thought about this. I'm saying this because it's based on my experience in life. And we're going to be talking about a few of my experiences, and I'll explain what that obstacle did to me and what I did to get through this as well. So to start off with, I'm going to share with you something that's very personal to myself, and it's called my lifeline. So if you look at 1989, it was a very trying time for me when I failed my metric. And we all know back then in 1989, once you fail your metric, there's no opportunity for you to go into university or further your studies at all, right? So this is the situation I was left with. But more to this was it put me into a state of depression. Have you ever felt so depressed that you wanted to just give up on life completely? How many of you have had this experience? You know, it's something that we face, and a lot of people out there are facing it on a daily basis. So this sent me into a bad spiral of depression to the point where I attempted to take my life. So if you ask me today, why did I make that decision? I'll kind of laugh back and say, I have no idea. But when I recap, it was all because I was too focused on what society and what the community would think about me and my family. So you see, back then, when you live in a close-knit community, people talk all the time. People are fond of making jokes of you. People are fond of calling your family a failure. People say you left everyone down. So I was the type of guy that was really excelling in school, and I thought I had everything in order up until that point when I had to go at midnight and fetch my newspaper to go through it and realize that my name is not on this list. So you see, back then, there was no support system to help us or mentor us or guide us and tell us, no matter what you're going through, no matter what obstacle you face, just get up and keep moving. Don't stop. Nobody was there to whisper in our ear that it's okay not to be okay. Nobody at all. But I saw this as a failure in my life, but this failure or this obstacle actually opened up more doors for me. Because that very same year, 1989, that December, I started a job as a packer and a sweeper. Now, if you go back to 1989, getting a job back then was not easy at all, right? If you are as old as that. But, you know, luckily for me, I was able to get employment, and this meant that I could still support my family, although I had not had a metric qualification. And I didn't mind what job it was, whether it's a packer or a sweeper. But that obstacle manifested into something better for me. And I realized back then that what I tried to do was not in fitting with the Nolan that I am today, because I've grown and I've learned through this process. Now, let me ask you a question, because I'm sure a lot of you know of people that are going through similar at the moment. And what's the cause of it? Let's look at social media, for example. How many people are masking themselves, trying to be somebody they are not? Why? Because they see themselves as not good enough. Now, they're putting on this facade for no reason at all, right? They want the likes, they want the comments, etc. But what this actually does, and especially to the youngsters, it kind of creates this mistrust for them. And the reason why I say that is when, let's say, for example, they meet somebody on Instagram and say, let's meet for coffee or dinner or whatever, and they meet. And now this person comes to realize, but you're not the same person I've been talking to all this time. Who are you? Where have you come from? What does it lead to immediately? It leads to conflict. And when it leads to conflict, who knows what happens after that dinner date to the person, to either one of them? We don't know, right? Because there's so many sad stories that are coming out today. That's a reality, and it's all because people are masking themselves. So I'm saying, no matter what you face in life, no matter who you are, do not put on a facade. Be who you are. Be your authentic self. It's quite important. This leads to so many different issues that we have out there, like mental wellness issues, etc. So let's encourage the youngsters and ourselves as well. I see this with adults that actually use the filter system to look like somebody they're not. And I'm saying, don't do that at all. No matter what you're going through in your life, just be yourself. Now, let's go back to my situation, where I was in 1989. The one thing I learned is not to play the self-pity card or the victim mindset card. Because if I had done that, I would not be the Nolan that I am today. So it's taught me a lot as well. So whatever situation you are experiencing, if you are experiencing any situations now or back then or whatever, please ask yourself the questions, why am I going through this situation? What's causing the situation to make me feel sad? What's causing the situation to make it feel like it's an obstacle in my life and I can't really move forward as well? I want you to spin this around and ask yourself the question, what can this lesson or this obstacle teach me? How can I grow through it? And remember, I said, how can I grow through it? Not just go through it. Because far too often as humans, we tend to just go through situations in life and we don't want to grow through it. Because when we make the choice to grow through it, we do become better humans. And every single one of us, every single day, we are striving to be better humans all the time. So use it to your advantage and ask yourself the question, how can you grow through it? In saying this, you're taking ownership and you're taking accountability for your life, because nobody can fix you or myself besides ourselves, right? We have to dig deep within and start asking ourselves these hard questions and start growing through it as well. Victim mindset, self-pity mindset is in the past. We no longer want to go through with that as well. Now, how many of you have experienced death or know of somebody close to you that have passed on, that it felt like you were dying inside? So let me see some yeses or nos in the comments here. How many of you have experienced loved ones dying to the point where you felt like you were dying inside? Okay, Shireen, Bruce, yes, absolutely, we all, right? But do you know that death is actually an unbeatable obstacle? Why do I say unbeatable obstacle? Very simply, we all are going to die at some point in our lives. We can take the necessary care to look after our bodies. We can do whatever it takes to prolong our life, but death is something we cannot beat. It's unstoppable. So if you look at COVID, what we've experienced in COVID, COVID was here to take you out, no matter what your race, religion, sex, culture, how much money you had in your bank account. COVID never discriminated at all. It took you out. We've lost a lot of loved ones. But the point is, if you look in 2002, I lost my dad, somebody who was very special to me. But here's the thing, as a human, we have to go through that grieving process. We have to go through all the emotions. But do we want to stay stuck there? No, absolutely not. And I say this because when we stay stuck there and cuddle ourselves like this and just want to be in this dark room all the time, we're creating this obstacle that's not allowing us to move forward. So go through all the emotions, etc., but don't stay stuck there. And furthermore, your loved ones or that person that passed on would not want you to stay stuck there. They would want you to continue their lives or continue your life and leave this legacy that you want to leave. Don't just stay stuck there and just accept everything as it is, right? So don't create death or don't use death of a loved one as an obstacle for you not to move forward in life. So if you look at my lifeline, for example, when you're looking at this, take 30 seconds to 45 seconds and think about your life. How is your life going? Is your life a straight line? Or is it like this, up and down? Lots of obstacles. Or is it a few obstacles, few downs, many ups? How do you see your life? Just think about this in your mind for a second. Are you experiencing a lot of things at the moment? If you are, then think of all these downs that we experience, right, as an opportunity, or see it as an uncomfortable situation that's allowing us to grow. It's allowing us to get out of this comfort cage, because as humans, we tend to be too relaxed and too comfortable wherever we are. And one of my experiences was when I was in the corporate world, I was too comfortable. I was traveling twice a month, getting paid a good salary, but I was not seeing what was happening in the background and how this was adding up into my life and catching up with me slowly, because I was too comfortable to notice it. I didn't notice it at all, right? If you are experiencing obstacles as well, think for a second, are you creating these obstacles for yourself? And I'll give you a few examples of obstacles that we create for ourselves. How many of us are in toxic environments, or toxic relationships, or toxic family? Now, I call it toxic because it really is toxic. Now, the more longer we stay in these environments or relationships, what are we doing for ourselves? Aren't we creating that as an obstacle? Aren't we creating it as a blocker so that we cannot move forward as well? Of course we are, because we are too sucked up into this environment to get out from there. I was one of them. In my corporate experience, in 2019, when I decided to quit the corporate world, I went through the worst inhumane behavior I experienced in my life. And I could not believe that we are in 2019 and you can still go through behavior like this. You can still go through racist behavior in a corporate world, in a major corporate world. But hey, guess what? I saw it as my beautiful destruction. And if you wonder why beautiful destruction, it's because it allowed me to get out from this comfort zone, the shell that I was in. And it allowed me to experiment and ask myself these deep questions. Nolan, is this where you want to be for you the rest of your life? No matter how good it may seem, no matter how good it is for you at the moment, with your travel, etc. But do you want to expose yourself to this for the rest of your life? And the answer I got back from a higher purpose was no. It said, get out and find out what more you can do with your life. How can you better yourself? And that's when I got out of this corporate world and I started realizing that there's more to my life than being stuck there. And I found purpose, my friends. I really found purpose. I started up an organization that allowed me to serve our communities in Africa. And service to another human is the best thing ever. A lot of you on the call today, I know you serve so well, and you can relate to this as well. So one of the things that I've done serving is I've helped other people make their dreams come true. So at one stage, they saw this as an obstacle where they could not do certain things in life, but I helped them to make their dream become bigger. How did I do it? We just came back in August now from summiting one of the highest mountains in Africa and the largest freestanding mountain in the world, Mount Kilimanjaro. And when I talk about making dreams come true, I took 5 deaf people up this mountain with me. These deaf people saw their deafness at one stage as an obstacle, that they couldn't do anything like this. But they were dreamers, and because they were dreamers and they could visualize themselves being at the top of the mountain, we actually went up together and they summited successfully. So you see, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what disability you have or whatever is holding you back, the moment you change your mindset and tell yourself you can do it, guess what? You can do it. When you start creating this mental image in your mind of anything that you want to do, it will become a reality for every single one of you. So don't sit back and just expect things to happen. You got to take these inspired action steps to overcome any obstacle that you encounter in life. Now, recently, I went through a bad experience, and I want to talk about this because it really changed how I started seeing life as well. And it gave me a different perspective. So I had COVID in 2021, and COVID for about 13 days of my life took me out of who I was completely. And I'm talking about spending 13 days in the intensive care unit with 58% oxygen levels. And I'm not sharing the story because I want to brag that I came out from it, because I know a lot of people could not come out from the COVID experience that they had. But the one thing I did differently was when I got admitted, COVID was a huge barrier at the point, but I said to my family, trust me, I will walk out from this hospital. So by making that decision in my mind that I'm going to overcome this obstacle of COVID is what got me out of the situation and got me talking to you, every single one of you today. So my COVID experience, in summary, allowed me to become a first-time author. And I got to share this experience while I was in hospital amidst the trauma that I experienced. And there was a lot of trauma. Every time you saw a bed get wheeled past you with the sheet covering the person's face, you know somebody else has passed on. I saw this every single day. More worse was when I saw a doctor pass on. But the fact is I still kept fighting it. I kept meditating. I kept doing the right things to make sure I can come out from this experience of COVID as well and become a first-time author as well. So just to wrap up a bit, some of the solutions that I mentioned a little short while earlier, and something that I just want to bring up again. One, don't stay in a victim or self-pity mindset. I want you to just think about South Africa at the moment. How many people are in this victim mindset or self-pity mindset currently in our country? Why? Because they don't want to let go of the past. They don't want to let go of what we've experienced before. The more longer they hold on to this, they will never be able to move forward. We will never be able to build a better South Africa as long as the people are holding on to this anger, this hatred, and everything from the past. If you do that, my friends, or if you know somebody doing this, please ask them to move away from that. Let's move forward as a collective and start building this country. We have a beautiful country and we have the ability to do it. The second thing is prepare yourselves in advance to be uncomfortable. And the reason why I'm saying this is when you are uncomfortable, you will see the biggest growth you've ever experienced in your life just by being uncomfortable. So set yourself up for that as well. All these obstacles that you see in your life, see these obstacles as an opportunity to grow. Look at my lifeline. All of those are obstacles. But if I had not been using that as an opportunity to grow, I would not be here today as well. I would be most probably back in my old city doing nothing with my life at all. So see this as an opportunity. When you see obstacles in life, remember, it's the universe sending you a message that you need to move out from whatever situation you are in. It's allowing you to grow. It wants you to grow. The universe is in your favor, my friends. It's not against you. It's there to help you, to guide you as well. If you are in toxic environments or toxic relationships, get out of it as soon as possible. The sooner you get out from it, the quicker you're going to allow yourself to learn how to overcome obstacles and grow as a person, becoming a better person. Every single morning when you wake up, tell yourself, today you are going to be better than you were yesterday. And of course, find purpose through this. If you have not found purpose as yet, understand how you can live a purposeful life. It's quite important for you as a person to live a purposeful life, because then you help all of us to become more purposeful as well. And then practice gratitude on a daily basis, because be grateful. All these obstacles that you see, when you learn to be grateful for those obstacles, watch how you change, how your mind changes, and you'll be welcoming obstacles in the future, right? You'll say, obstacles, come on, come over, because now I know that I'm grateful for the opportunity to overcome that obstacle that I'm experiencing. So see it as opportunities, see it as positives and not negatives as well. And when you are doing your meditation, when you're going through an obstacle, meditate for a few minutes and ask yourself these deep, hard questions. Believe me, my friends, you have all the answers within you. You just need to dig deep and find these answers. By you meditating and talking to your higher purpose, you're allowing all these innovative and creative ideas to come into you. It will come walk into you. Like I said, the answers are there. Just go and seek these answers. So once again, I'd like to thank you for listening to me. I'm grateful that you made it here. I'd like to leave you with this last quote. You must find that place inside yourself where nothing is impossible.